the scene. Hello, today is Wednesday. My name is Kwame Owusu Danso, the 7th of October 2020, and you're welcome to Good Morning Africa Live on Pan-African Television. I'm super excited about today because today I have three of my very, very important friends here in the studios. One of them has been very busy lately, but we managed to pull him here somehow because he needs to come. We are not done with the job until he gets to Parliament. So, yeah, we're still in the process. He himself has been working assiduously and connecting with the people at the grassroots to ensure that victory becomes his come December 7th, 2020. He's been very, very active, and he's ensured that his message gets to the people. So we are all solidly behind him. We pray and hope that the people will consider the things that he's been saying to them and give him the mandate come December 7th, 2020. This person is Dr. Kwame Owusu. Doctor, good morning.
Morning.
I hope you're doing well.
Boko.
And also our very own Timothy Atabwadi Awontrim is here seated. Timothy Awontrim is the former MP for Busa North constituency. Yeah. And definitely in 2024, mark today's date. Today is the 7th of October 2020. 2024. He will be the next MP for Busa North constituency. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Take it from me.
Thank you.
I don't just.
I'm not a prophet.
No, I'm not a prophet.
And you know when the prophet speaks.
I'm a political marketer. I'm a political marketer.
The prophet speaks whatever God has put in your heart.
I'm not a prophet. I'm only a political marketer. So I'm able to
read into.
Yeah, I have the
crystal ball.
Yes, thank you very much. So 2024. How do you say bayawa? Bayawa. Inshallah. And our very own governance and political expert Alhaji Dr. Marzouk is also here. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, sir.
I love your new glasses. I told you. This one makes you look younger. The other one made you look like a professor. Isn't that the professors are swaggish?
That's true.
Professor Jampo is very,
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I just decided to put aside or do away with Mahatma Gandhi glasses and decide to appreciate modernity.
Kwame Owusu Danso's type of glasses. Anyway, so for the viewers, if you just joined us, you're watching the new super review segment, which is about to start in a jiffy. But let me remind you that the WhatsApp number is active, is 026-084-6539. And we're also streaming live on Facebook, facebook.com/Pan-African Television. You can connect with us, share with us what your views are. We will be more than willing to read them out here for you and for the rest of the world. Now, it's important. Those of you, I posted a picture of myself and my colleagues on Facebook. Those of you who are saying that you want their numbers, I'm not going to give their numbers out to you. So, if you want to meet them, come and work with us, and you get to meet them. Well, I mean, a conversation has started, which for me is very, very exciting, to the extent that people have found their voices and speaking so loudly about the issue of political party financing in respect of all elections, and people are really speaking quite loudly about it, and the fact that it is very inimical to the development agenda. And perhaps this is the time for us to all come together and say no to political financing, because it is the basis, it is the rudimental, it is the fundamental cause of corruption. So we have to deal with that particular issue. It is very incidental to the conversation about corruption in this nation. And so principle of clientelism and all of that is very, very incidental to the conversation. So I think it has started. We would want to entreat all and sundry to be very curious about the conversations that we've begun relative to corruption and relative to political party financing in this year's election. Also, one other issue that has become very topical has to do with chiefs endorsing political parties and their leaders and things like that. Well, the conversation has started. Others are saying that it frowns on the provision of the Constitution, which provision is Article 276. 276 is very expressly stated in the Constitution of this Republic, and the framers of the Constitution, in the estimation of many Ghanaians, including myself, knew and understood why they decided to put that particular provision in the Constitution. But that same provision in the Constitution, which Article 276, which states that chiefs should not, or shall, if I use the word shall not actively involve themselves in partisan politics, also is countered by another provision in the Constitution, which provision also says that chiefs who are also qualified to occupy certain public positions can be given the opportunity to so do. And so that is the confusion that we are seeking to, we are grappling with, and we are seeking to address in this country. Hopefully, we will be able to touch on it briefly on the morning show before we delve deeper into the local stories here. Let me quickly take you through the topics that we've selected for our conversation. Hope rise for release of hostage in Mali. Ghanaian Times newspaper reported that particular story. It's an African story. Kotoka International Airport, KIA, boils as staff demand dismissal of MD. The Inside newspaper reported that particular. Muhammad Des Akufo-Addo published audited report of contracts awarded during my regime. And indeed, the primus inter pares in that suggestion from the former president has to do with the recent issue relative to the cocoa board matter. So I'm sure you are very much aware of that particular issue. It's still unfolding. We will find out, how we are able to deal with that. Minister allegedly campaigns in the north with private jet. I saw that video too, and I found that very, very exciting. I mean, yeah, if it is true, then anyway, let me just leave it at that. Good morning again, gentlemen, and thank you very kindly for your time. Let's start with the African story, after which we will discuss chiefs' involvement in active politics. Let me just take your views on that, and then we can touch on the substantive matters, slated for our conversation today. Now, I want to start with you, Dr. Marzouk, on this subject matter of hope rising for release of hostage in Mali. Now, I mean, let me just start with you now.
All right. Good morning to the cherished viewers of ours, and thanks for the opportunity. Special good morning to the people of Nanton. Special good morning to His Majesty the Yana of Dagbon State.
Abubakar.
Yes, Abubakar. And other traditional rulers in this country. We are proud of them. This story is an amalgamation of happy news and bad news. Happy and sad. Happy because it is about the possibility of restoring the dignity and safety of a charity worker. Sad because it is about the hijacking of an innocent religion by forces of evil in service to the devil. And I'm referring to the jihadists. It is good if it happens. But once it is still in a state of hope, the best we can do is to pray for the actualization of that hope. What matters most is for us to analyze the genesis of this saga, the concept of jihadism in the context of Islam. It is unfortunate that Mali has now been reduced to a theater of Islamic-oriented violence. Very unfortunate. And I'm saying it's unfortunate because historically, Mali has been a center of Islamic scholarship. Timbuktu, Gao, Sudan, Kano in Nigeria, and other African centers of learning rivaled places like Azhar in Cairo, Tunisia, Saudi, Morocco. But today, Mali has become a center of violence. And it is important for us to understand that these people are only acting in the name of Islam. Because what they do is highly unacceptable. There is a clash between a jihadist, a violent character, and a charity worker. Permit me to say something little on the chronic position on charity work. And then we can contrast it with the chronic position or Islamic position on violence. Then we see between the two, which of them is doing an Islamic work. You go to Quran chapter 2, verse 110, and it is stated in the whole Quran clearly, وَأَقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةِ وَآتُوا الزَّكَاةِ وَمَا تُقَدِّمُوا لِأَنفُسِكُم مِّنْ خَيْرٍ تَجِدُوهُ عِندَ اللَّهِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ بِمَا تَعْمَلُونَ بَصِيرٌ. And offer your prayers firmly and stand firmly regularly by charity. In other words, do your prayers, do your charity firmly. Now, whatever money you have spent in terms of charity will be a reward that you will get from Almighty Allah, and that Allah is able to see whatever you do. So it is clear that charity is an Islamic value. Someone leaves his country or her country, in this context her country, because it is a lady. She comes to you to offer you this charity, and you have people consumed by ignorance and arrogance, disturbing that soul. That is highly unfortunate in the name of Islam. Then the same religion tells us that Prophet Muhammad is reported to have said that a human being is like the build or the construction of God. Whoever destroys that human being is a curse. Al-insan bunyanullah. La'anallahu man hadama bunyanullah. Somewhere too it is stated in the whole Quran that whoever kills a soul without just cause will be seen as something carrying the burden, the sin of someone who has killed the entire humanity. So killing without a just cause is un-Islamic. So here it is clear that the jihadists operating in the name of Islam are rather doing things that are un-Islamic. And the very charity worker who has been kidnapped just because she is not a Muslim is rather doing something that is purely Islamic. So we need to understand very well that what is happening in Mali is never in the interest of Islam. It is in the name of Islam, but not in the interest of Islam. And I find it very difficult to understand what they are doing. Recently, but this story reminds me of a recent remark by French President Macron on Islam. And he is alleged to have said that Islam is now is a religion in crisis. It is many people see something wrong with what he's saying. But to be frank with you, if you put it in a proper context, he's not wrong. It is true that Islam has been hijacked by some terrorists, and it is in crisis. It is up to all of us, those of us who practice pure Islam, true Islam, to liberate it from the hands of the terrorists. So it is true. I think he was referring to the French enforcement of the policy of laicity, and that controls the French secular life. So he described Islam in this way. People have problems with him. Let us be very truthful to ourselves. I don't see anything wrong with what he has said. I think we have a responsibility to liberate Islam from those disturbing global peace in the name of their religion. So it is clear that yes, it is we are being told that there is hope, but we shouldn't stop there. What we can do is to ensure that the hope materializes. But we cannot do it alone. Mali is part of a global community. It has always been the responsibility of Mali. Let it also be the responsibility of AU, ECOWAS, United Nations, and other international agencies responsible for the promotion of world peace and stability. Thank you.
Thank you very kindly, Dr. Marzouk. Let me now go to Dr. Adama Opisi. Sir.
Yeah, good morning once again. And greetings to my party chairman, Albert Sam, and the constituency secretary, Bashir, along with my good friend, Obri Yeboah. And more importantly, all the folks, citizens, as I should say, of Anyaso Tum and beyond. It's a nice day to be out. We had some good rain last night. Granted, flooding is an issue in my area. I think I slept well, enjoying the breeze that came with it. And fortunately, the lights went out, but after a while, I think it came back on, which was also good. I think because of the lightning and thunder, maybe ECG thought it appropriate to keep us safe by turning off the lights. This week, there are lots of things happening, which I think I'll bring to bear. But with regards to Mali, I'm happy that, one, the military regime have relinquished power to the, as it is, acting president, which is the prime minister. That is wonderful. In fact, it reminds me of the song Ebi Ensida. To do a coup in August, and within a matter of one sitting with the new ECOWAS chairman, to have a resolution of some sort and to give power back to the community. I think, as I say, we fail to appreciate small milestones, but this action of the military will be looked at in the annals of history of Africa. People can now use that as precedence. Even if a coup should happen, people will say that, listen, in Mali, they did this, and yet after just 90 days or less than 90 days, they gave power back to the country. And now we have, something to also show that people are appreciating the need for democracy, even if there's a military intervention. So I must say I'm very happy about that. And we should celebrate it. It is not an easy decision to arrive at when you take power from a ruling government, and just when you're about to enjoy it, you clamp down and say, take it back. So let's commend Malians for that. On the other side is I'm praying that things come to a normalcy. With any coup d'etat, there's fear put into the people, and some arrests are made. Personally, my own uncle, my late uncle, Colonel Banfo, was also one of the many that were arrested during our coup era in Ghana. So I can connect to the experience in that regard. And quite frankly, even when he was released, all family members were still concerned, because when Uncle Colonel Banfo is visiting you, you don't know who else is following him. But it was an experience in Ghana. And I must say that all the hostages that were, as it is, victims of this coup d'etat, we're not talking about ordinary people. We're talking about high-level government officials who were cooped or put in a chicken coop somewhere. You know what I mean? And soon to be released, or in the process of being given back their rights as citizens and as people who were, in some level of authority. Is good. I'm happy, and I pray that no more lives will be lost during this sort of transition to normalcy in Mali. So that is where I'll end it with regards to Mali. So that we pray that this transition period goes well, and anybody put under duress will have the freedom to move about and to talk and express himself as they are supposed to. So with regards to Mali, I don't want to belabor it. That is what I would say.
Thank you very much. Well, if you just joined us, you're watching the Newspaper Review segment here on Pan-African Television with me, Kwame Owusu Danso. Now, it's very, very important that at this moment, you can share with us what your thoughts are. 0260846539, 0260846539. Let me say a special good morning and congratulations to Alhaji Baba Seidu Isifu, who is the parliamentary candidate for the NDC in Nalerigu Gambaga constituency. You picked your form yesterday. I wish you all the best, and I know that you're gonna definitely win this 2020 elections. You know, it's a done deal for you. And also a special good morning to Haji Ahumu of Wa Central. I'm told you're doing a very good job there. More grease to your elbows, and I definitely also wish you the best of luck. Honorable, let's hear from you.
Yeah. Let me say good morning.
You know, it's so strange. When I did it for Honorable Admarcus, he didn't say, When I did it for the guy, the one in the end, he said, Politics, eh?
Do we fear some?
You know, I did one for NDC, I did one for MPP. Who is an MPP candidate? Yes. And then my very own Alhaji Baba Seidu Isifu, the incoming MP for Nalerigu Gambaga, is an NDC person. And Bernard Mona actually is also contesting Adolu Kalio seat.
Certainly.
Bernard has to win that seat.
Certainly.
Bernard has to win that seat. If Bernard doesn't win that seat,
listen to me.
After losing
the chairperson, no, anybody can lose an election. No, it's okay.
Do you want to tell people who have lost
chairperson and have gone on to win
and still went to contest? No, I want to also ask you that same question.
Interestingly, on a losing streak, maybe, I don't know. I'm just saying.
Nanabe lost the 2000.
Don't even go there.
12 elections.
A lot.
You lose to gain.
And won in 2020. Actually won in 2016.
Maybe we don't know. He might be on a losing streak. I don't know. But we'll see.
Yeah. Anyway.
But Kwame, interestingly, in this political game, some of you as public figures, you are caught between friends of the major political parties.
I'm telling you.
You don't know what to do.
You don't know what to do.
They are all like your brothers.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yet you also have your interest.
That is why.
It's not about interest.
It's about
If you're about policies.
Yeah.
I think you'll be okay.
No, that's what it is. It should be about policy.
So back to the Mali coup makers. I think that
the subject is the hostage who has been freed by the jihadists.
I was telling you.
No, it's not about.
Yeah, the gentleman who has been freed.
Yes.
The
charity worker.
Okay.
The charity worker who was abducted has been freed.
Has been freed. Fantastic story. I think that it still hovers around the same thing because when you even look at reports, it's about the coup makers vis-a-vis the militant Islamists who are there, and what will be the role of the militants, the jihadists, vis-a-vis the coup makers in the case of this. But you see, the issue of the Islamic movement, there, like my brother said, and charity work. In Islam, charity is a core function of any Muslim brother and so on. I think it's a core function. So whether the fellow even belongs to the Islamic religion or not, once he's doing a charity or whatever duty he's performing in the name of humanity, remember we are going to be judged by God. He's the ultimate judge. So whatever you do must be taken into perspectives. But interestingly, when these jihadists and rebels, they have a modus operandi, say that they can also use some of these hostages as a bait to demand for some respite from whatever that they are demanding. It has happened in the case of Boko Haram. It has happened in other rebel groups all over Africa, even the world, especially when you go to the Horn of Africa, Somalia, and so on. They use these things. For me, it all boils down to what led to the existence and the formation of an Islamic or a rebel group against a main political party or the state. There are factors that have led to that, and are those factors being addressed? Are their concerns being also looked into as against the general vision of the state? If you look at the Mali coup makers, what did they say? They said that, look, They were coming to a system because of what? Corruption, mismanagement of the economy, and a dispute over legislative elections. These are core things, you understand? And are we addressing those things? Are these things seem to be the same issues that the Islamic State is fighting for, or they are just using the religion to go on such harassment against innocent citizens and against aid workers who are there? In fact, even the aid workers are there in the interest of the Islamic group and also in the interest of the government, because they are taking care of Malians. Malians who have been devastated and torn between government forces, the French forces, the UN forces, and the Islamic group. And for me, I think that we thank God for the release of the hostage. Can you imagine if you are taken as a hostage under these people who cared less about life and who see life as just eating banana? And then you have a family, you went there to do work for God, for humanity. Once you are doing charity for human beings, you are doing it for God. And they often say that Vox Populi, Vox Dei, which is the voice of the people, and he who feels it knows it best. You can pretend to talk much for the Islamists or against them. You can pretend to also know more about the feelings of the people of Mali, vis-a-vis what they are coming under the pressure of the Malian government that has been overthrown, and the current institution of a transition, so to say, because it's not complete, looking at what the ECOWAS leaders bargained for. And you know, the interesting thing about the ECOWAS leaders is that the same accusations leveled against the democratically elected government of Mali that was overthrown are the same things the ECOWAS leaders are perpetrating, especially most of them, against citizens that stood in the scorching sun to vote for them. And when they gain the reins of power, they seem to forget about the feelings of the people and the aspirations of the people. It should serve as a guide. We should collectively, West Africa as a country, should see how they can, see how they can flush out the the Islamists vis-a-vis other groups such as Boko Haram, and even relating it to home here. We have our own, isn't Western Togo, land people who are demanding, we don't know what they are demanding for, and the current issue of secessionists who blocked some roads in Volta region, and blatantly, and the devils went and took a police car, and they were speeding in town with even the supposed secessionists in it and jubilating, and no one could say anything. Can you dare the devils to that extent that you look in the devil's eye and take the devil's sword to be cutting people? Can you take Lucifer's sword? That was what they did. And I think that all this tells us a lot about our policies within a state. What are the people who vote for the politicians? Do they really benefit from what they stood for? Are the manifestos and our politics really impacting positively on the electorate and so on? These are issues that will go along. And West Africa, ECOWAS should be an institution that should mean their words. They should not accuse another regime of a country of doing wrong. Why did they say they are perpetuating worse crimes in their state against the citizens?
Okay. Well, people are saying a similar tension is brewing in Ivory Coast, and we are sitting unconcerned. Togo has been there for quite some time now because of the hegemony that has been created. You know, but this one in Ivory Coast is very dangerous, actually. But it's just that we've not given it a lot of attention. So perhaps this is a time to have that conversation as well. Well, let me say a special happy birthday to the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, Alhaji Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. Today is your birthday. You turn 57. We wish you all the best, and may Allah protect you, and we wish you health, long life, and prosperity. Having said that, we need to come home and discuss some domestic issues here. And like I intimated at the start of the show, we are going to touch briefly on the involvement of traditional leaders in active politics. We're going to touch on that briefly, and then we'll proceed to look at what is happening at Kotoka International Airport and Muhammad Darin Akufo-Addo to publish audited reports of contracts awarded during his regime, and minister allegedly campaigning in the north with private jets. We are going to be touching on all of these issues here. But most importantly, we are going to kickstart the conversation from the perspective of what has become very topical, which has to do with chiefs involving themselves actively or otherwise in politics. And I want to start with you. Okay, actually, let me start with Dr. Marzouk again. Let me start with Dr. Marzouk.
He's a royal. So.
Oh, you're royal? I don't know.
Anyway, no problem.
Not exactly.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I want us to...
And you know, it's, with the greatest of respect to you, I can appreciate the sensitivity attached to some of these conversations. However,
now we
have to speak the truth.
The occupants of that city is sensitivity.
Absolutely.
And when you go against it,
so yes, you know, because I've had an occasion where somebody wanted to speak to the fact, but was measured, and in his own estimation, he said it's a revered institution, and because, you know, we are bonded by culture and tradition, we must be very circumspect in our utterances. So he was very measured in his, you know, submission on the show. But I believe that if there are some truths that ought to be told, we must do so dispassionately, without fear or without favor. So please, let's hear from you.
Thank you. Within the context of our culture, it should be in the interest of our own chiefs that we discuss anything we think can undermine their authority. So if we all understand the issue this way, then we will not have any problem with it in terms of public discourse. But we also need to be fair to them. That constitutional provision contains certain words that should have operational definition. In the absence of any operational definition, then it should be the responsibility of every chief to exhibit self-control. You agree with me that the adjective active here is relative, is abstract.
Absolutely.
It's one of the abstract words. But semantically, it is not a concrete word. It is an abstract word. In other words, it is a word of relative connotation in relative contexts.
Okay.
Different meanings to different people in different contexts. So, if we are not able to define operationally what we mean by the adjective active, we will continue to have problems with the involvement of the chiefs. Two, the expertise of some chiefs should not be undermined in the interest of the non-involvement of partisan politics. Three, we should also be mindful of the role of chiefs in democratic governance. But if we are able to have an operational definition to address all these concerns, we will not have any problem. If, for instance, the involvement of the chief should be defined as any appointment of the chief in relation to his expertise. If I'm just giving an example.
Yeah, that's 97, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in the Constitution.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if we have that, we don't have any problem. If, for example, a chief is a qualified electoral commissioner, if we agree that a chief can be a very good commissioner for civic education, a chief can be a very good commissioner for any constitutional body, why not? We don't have any problem with that. But it is up to the chiefs themselves to go beyond the Constitution and to consider our own culture. One, our culture and tradition. Two, our culture of democratic politics.
Yeah.
Three, the hostile environment of politics. And four, the culture of insults as part of the features of democratic politics in this country. If they consider all these things, then they themselves should be self-measured in terms of their involvement in partisan politics. But, Kwame, pardon me to say that in whatever situation, a chief stands to undermine his own authority if he publicly declares support for any political party. Yes, in whatever situation. Any chief who stands to publicly declare support for any political party should also be ready to receive all the insults associated with our partisan politics.
Right.
And I think that is undermining. That alone can undermine the authority of the chief. So, constitutionalism or not, chiefs must avoid anything that will undermine their authority. If our political environment had been sanitized to a certain level, chiefs would have been able to declare support for various political parties without any fear, because you cannot say favor. Declaration of support is favor, without any fear. But in a situation where we are dealing with a very hostile political environment, chiefs themselves should see themselves as symbols of authority, symbols of reverence, symbols of dignity, so that they do not even come near. Nothing should compel you to declare support for any political party. Let us also try to differentiate the parties from the state. If a chief declares support for the state, for a state project, that should not amount to partisanship. If, for example, former J.J. Rawlings established the UDS, then the chiefs in the north decide to declare support for the UDS and then extend gratitude to former President J.J. Rawlings. I don't see anything wrong with that. If the current president, Nana Akufo-Addo, establishes anything good, any institution which is in the interest of the people of the Volta region, and the chiefs of the Volta region see that it is worthy of commendation, they come out, they commend the project, they commend the president. That should not be interpreted as declaration of support for the MPP. We should also be able to differentiate the two. But in a situation where a chief publicly says that he supports MPP or NDC, for example, that becomes unfortunate. And that, in my estimation, should be avoided by all chiefs in their own interests. I think that we need to review that constitutional provision. We need to look at it once again. If there's the need for us to have operational definitions of certain words used so that we will all be guided by these operational definitions, it will be good for the Republic of Ghana, for the dignity of the chiefs, for the prosperity of the youth, and for the reverence of the chieftaincy institution.
You've spoken quite extensively, and you found a way of addressing the issue, but not directly addressing it, if I can say that.
Sure.
Because you're also very measured. That's understandable. But then you make a statement about the fact that chiefs must not openly declare support for political parties.
Sure.
But we do know that chiefs represent the aspirations of the people.
Yes.
And to a very large extent, chiefs must be excited if a particular political party, for instance, has brought development to its people.
Yes.
And now, if the chief is advocating for that particular political party to continue to govern in respect of the fact that some level of or some amount of development has been brought to its people, is that wrong? Should that be described as, being actively involved in politics when it is just representing, and speaking the minds of the people that they govern?
That is true. First of all, I want us to understand that the adjective actively, the adjective active and the adverb actively are problematic. Not for a political party cannot amount to active involvement in politics. Cannot. But I've made it clear that in their own interest. Remember, chiefs are not only just development agents, they are also unifiers. They are agents of unification. And for their own dignity, they should not be seen to be declaring support for various political parties. I think I have mentioned, if it is about development projects, and these development projects are not for political parties. Development projects are for the state. And because the chiefs are traditional rulers in specific jurisdictions, they have every right to commend any government or party that brings development. But in a situation where we are dealing with partisan competition, it is in the interest of the chiefs themselves not to publicly declare support for the various political parties.
Irrespective of the development that has been brought to its people by a particular political party.
Yeah, they can comment the various parties that brings the development. Sorry, the various parties that would bring the development. They can comment, right? They can also make it clear that they appreciate the development. But for them to come out publicly and declare support for that political party, definitely they should also be ready. I'm not saying that it is wrong, but for the project and the complimentary remarks that I will make in relation to the project should be enough. I do not necessarily have to declare support publicly for his party. If I'm going to declare support for him, I will do so in his capacity as the president, not in his capacity as the leader of a ruling party. I won't do that because ours is multi-party democracy, and the various parties are just vehicles on a journey. The destination of that journey is development of the Republic of Ghana. So I stand by my argument that yes, chiefs have every right to support political parties, but for their own respect, let them avoid public declaration of support for various political parties. My brother, today it is one party, you remain a chief. Tomorrow it is another party, you remain a chief. If you try as much as possible to declare support for a particular political party just because of one or two development projects, remember that you will be accused of hypocrisy. If another political party comes and doubles the development, then you will be jumping from the first one to the other one. That is uncharacteristic of a chief.
Okay, there have been several schools of thought. Now I'll be coming to you guys in a jiffy, and I like to research a lot. So, so there have been several schools of thought relative to whether or not chiefs must be actively involved in politics. Of course, bringing into sharp focus the provision of the Constitution and other related issues, right? Some have argued that, of course, the political parties themselves or the political leaders themselves have found a way of dragging the chiefs into that particular fray.
And they will always do that.
But you see, the other school of thought who have been described as anti-traditionalists, right, have intimated that, to point out, right, the need to relegate chiefs to the background insofar as politics is concerned. They have argued that traditional authority signifies differences among people rather than what unites them as human beings. They argue further that whereas chieftaincy symbolizes collective and group rights, what is required to build a modern democracy is citizenship based on individual rights. So this is Mokiala Maliki, 1998, right? Among the scholars who think chiefs should have no role in politics also include Vaughan Olufemi, who is also in Nigeria. So this is like an African conversation relative to this, who argue that chieftaincy has no role in modern politics, for instance in Nigeria, because it is patently undemocratic.
Yes, so here it is true. Even in England, we have anti-monarchy elements.
Absolutely.
They are there. But still, the monarchy, the British monarchy, remains one of the most respected authorities. Even in the face of constitutional democracy, the monarchy is still highly respected. I do not think that the Queen will be allowed to declare support for a particular political party. I don't think she will do that. So these are scholarly views, and as scholars, as discussants, we should be able to tolerate them. But what is clear is that there's no way chiefs can be eliminated in our parties and in our politics. But when politics assumes a partisan level, chiefs must advise themselves.
Okay. All right.
Chiefs will continue to be symbols of unity in diversity, symbols of development, symbols of peace, symbols of stability. And we need their dignity for them to perform. If we lose confidence in them, definitely there will be disorder in their own jurisdiction.
All right, so let me, fantastic submission. Let me now come to you, Honorable Timothy at the argument has been far advanced that chiefs must not be actively involved in politics because of the fact that now they have only, well, they don't even have any residual power, but then the power that they have really has been taken over. The political power that they have historically have been taken over by the democratic means of doing things, right? So have been completely taken over by the executive, the judicial, the legislature, etc., right? And that what they have now is culture and tradition. And in order for us to respect the sanctity of that institution, they must not be actively involved in that process of politics, because we know how dirty politics can be, to the extent that you can insult a president but you cannot insult the chief. So these are the nuances that we must address our minds to. Now, in particularizing and characterizing the conversation, it is also very, very instructive to note that chiefs superintend over people who belong to varied political parties. And so in making an open declaration for one political party, people are of the opinion, in fact, one school of thought is of the opinion that you are sharply dividing your people amongst themselves, because then if there's any form of altercation that requires the immediate attention of a chief, because traditionally we respect our chiefs, so they still deal with some of these small issues within our communities, right? So if a matter goes before them and it is a matter that has to do with an altercation between the NDC and the MPP, and the chief has openly declared support for one political party, let's assume the MPP for instance, and the matter goes before the chief, the argument is that the chief will not be a fair umpire in that regard, because I mean, the support has already been given to one political party. And in that regard, the other person may not even want to go before the chief, because they will feel that there will be a rigid mental, decision created already before they even get the rubber stamp approach. So these are some of the things that we're looking at. But also the other school of thought is saying that, look, chiefs have a very important role to play, which role is to ensure that political parties, when they make promises to their people, deliver on that mandate. And to the extent that these political parties deliver on their mandate, they should go all out, and sing their praises and even call for the continuation of those political parties because they have delivered to the people. So these are the competing arguments that we have to deal with. But what will be your personal position in respect of this matter? Are we strictly adhering to the provisions in the Constitution, or you think that we must give a certain bigger room, which room will ensure that there's a very liberal conversation, to the extent that we admit, all of us here, that chiefs play very crucial roles in our political discourse?
Kwame, you said it all, especially when you looked at both the opposing issues and issues that are for. And like my brother cited the case of Britain.
Let me send you that.
The Queen.
The write-up.
We haven't seen which political party in London that the Queen belongs to. He considers both political parties to be his government. Is that not it?
Mm-hmm.
She equally considers that every a British citizen is a son or a daughter. So her role is like a mother covering the children. So whatever the children go and dirty themselves and bring, then he will be the arbiter. It doesn't matter the write-up or the opinions about intellectuals and whatnot. If chiefs in this country want to descend into the dirty politics of partisanship, we'll go there with them. Kwame, are you getting me?
Yeah.
If the chiefs in this country wants to descend in, because we know what they are doing. We know what some of them are doing, but because they occupy that revered and sensitive position, we often let their wrongs go. But if they think that they can do it, especially when their declaration is laced with trouble and ethnocentric comments, and I will adduce evidence to show that.
Please adduce that evidence, because we need
you
to
see,
know.
when a chief declaration is laced with trouble and ethnocentric comments, it's very dangerous. Because one, the chiefs are not only spiritual leaders, they are also considered as what? As people who upheld the laws and orders of the traditional area they preside. They are also seen as arbiters in the case of crime, especially political crime and so on, and issues that would dent the image of that traditional area. We've said it, we've condemned it. The general condemnation is that it is not for nothing that the framers of the Constitution had the wisdom to say that chiefs should not take part in active partisan politics. The adjective there is active. Yes. That's the preposition, active. The adjectival verb is that. Now you have a chief who declare for Mahama, and let us not take this for the. You know, all of us, we are the same human being, but we are of different sizes and capacities. Obviously, some chiefs are not at the capacity of Ochinhene, of the Volta chief, what is the name? Togbe Afede. The Dagbon chief, the Yana, the Wa chief, the Asantehene, and so on. My chief, Azantino Azakso, is a founding member of the MPP. Sure. But I will not see him declaring publicly that 4 more for Nana. For what has Nana done that there should be 4 more? And you say this with glee. You say this with enthusiasm. You don't need to say that. The same Ochinhene was the one who accused the Mahama regime when we were in power, that when we are doing appointments, we should skew it to favor people from the eastern region and from the Achim kingdom. When the Ochinhene was saying this, Marietta Brew was the Attorney General. Are you with me? And our former ambassador to Professor, I think you should be the one who was the chairman of the Manifesto Committee, was all appointed, and a lot of them were appointed. The question is, Kwame, if it were Mahmoud Bawumia, the vice president, that were the president, would Ochinhene have said that 4 more for Bawumia? Would he have said those things? If Alan Chemente, that also contested, how many people contested the elections? If Alan Chemente were the president today, would Ochinhene have said that 4 more for Alan Chemente? All the candidates. He's not, look, this declaration is a tribalistic declaration, because it is not a declaration for the MPP. It is not, and you do not even need to do that declaration. If Dr. Bawumia were the president, would Ochinhene say that 4 more for Dr. Bawumia? Would he say that?
We don't know that.
We don't know that. So that's why they shouldn't say that. Look, when you know that you occupy a position, that you are not supposed to do things for me, to come and say things publicly, don't do it. If you are not supposed to be seen at the dungeon of a prostitute, don't go and be hovering around. They will consider it to be a patronage of prostitutes. Kwame, don't you know that if you're a chief and you are even 10 years old, older people call you their father? Yes. Don't you know that all the presidents in this Ghana, no matter how old they are, when they appear before a chief, no matter how small you are, they call you a father. And the chief say, my son, or my daughter. So if a chief openly, and you didn't do it surreptitiously, you did it with all the pomp and pageantry it deserves, and looked in the camera and said it with glee, with happiness, with joy. Look, Ochinhene hasn't seen that President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo.
Chiefs, so.
Yeah?
We said chiefs. So if you focus on one, then
no, I'm choosing the way, but I'm using his status. He's a big chief. You know, the Gang chief is there, and there are other chiefs that are below. Sure. So if the Gang chief, I don't know their time, if he says that, if that Santehene says we hold it high, but there are other chiefs under him, they come and say we don't even treat it. Yeah, like if my chief in Sanma Nab Azantilo Azaksu says I'll take him on. But there are other chiefs under him. If you say that, I won't mind you. If the Bolga chief says that, we'll take him on. If the Nanumba chief, you look at the quantum of it, the status of the fellow, what it carries. But one thing, Kwame, chiefs have forgotten, they've lost their relevance. And their endorsement, public endorsement, doesn't carry weight. It doesn't carry weight. And they make themselves public ridicule. In fact, President Kufuor was the president. When President Kufuor was the president, he was going for a second year term. Did Ochehini endorse him? Kwame, did Ochehini endorse President Kufuor?
Maybe he didn't see the level of development that we're seeing now.
So we can see. So with all this you want me to begin listening. That's why I cited. If the Ochehini knows that under the presidency of His Excellency President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, there's so much ethnocentrism. There's so much family and friends that have been appointed. He should rather be criticizing that, because he's not a chief just for the Ochiman people, but he can also be considered as a chief for Ghana, because he will represent Ghana on a delegation, maybe to the UN or to any other place to represent Ghanaians. Are you with me? He can be chosen, like my brother, on the constitutional body to speak for us. He can be an arbiter in an election, a disputed election in this country. Assuming that this election, there's a dispute, and the courts are unable to resolve the matter, can the chiefs use their wisdom to resolve the matter? How would I see Ochehini, who has endorsed a president partisanly, being an arbiter in the case of political dispute? How do you take it? So they should be measured in what they say. And let me tell you, the endorsement does nothing to the electorate. What the electorate is looking at, you promise the people, one village, one dam, did you do it? One district, one factory, did you do it? One constituency, $1 million, did you give? Yet this government has borrowed over 374 billion total grants. No. Kwame, let me.
I get your argument, but you see, but the Ochehini also made references to some of the things that you are talking about. He didn't just speak in a vacuum. My brother, let's interrogate the issue.
I was reading one of the papers this morning about Honorable Atachia, who said that they should be mindful of Mahamad's promise to build mortuaries in Zongos. No. It's not even that. Did Mahama say he'll build mortuary in Zongos? Atachia is a brilliant guy. He knows it and he knows what he's saying. Did Mahama say he'll build? In fact, which part of the Zongos are you going to build mortuary? He's there. Which part of the Zongos? Are you going to pull people's houses down and build a mortuary? Kwame, you know Zongo. We all stay in Zongo.
But I live in Mayanka in Asantemanko. I'm a Zongo boy.
So which part of the Zongo are you going to build the mortuary? So when they leave the issue in this context and partisanly address the issue, then we can read into their motives. Look, if you look at the demeanor, the posture of Ochehini saying 4 more for Nana to do more. When the ordinary Ghanaian knows what he's going under, the economic pressure. In fact, what Ochehini has done is rather to reduce the votes for Akufo-Addo, because even people within the Ochehini are not the same people who are enjoying the flamboyance of this government. There are people within Ochehini who cannot get water to drink. Who knew that John Mahama made water for the Ochehini people when he was the president at the cost of 7 million pounds, euros? No, don't even go there. Even Trump, who is rich, has ever used his money to do this issue about politicians. Why would I use my money to do that? Dog, don't go there. I'm going to Parliament. I'll ask you this thing one day. Why would Mahama use his money to? Hasn't he got a family?
Are you starting the fight?
No, hasn't Mahama got a family? Why would
let's stay on course.
So my issue is that
honorable.
Honorable.
I'm not truncating your chain of thought.
Yeah.
But I also think that we should subject our analysis to proper scrutiny. You are saying that the Ochehini has openly declared support for Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo.
Yeah.
So you're unhappy about it.
Yeah.
But Ochehini never declared support for Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo in a vacuum.
Yeah.
He stated and listed a few of the achievements of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo.
Yeah.
And indicated that on the basis of these achievements by the NPP-led administration, people should look at, for instance, the implementation of the free SHS policy, and listed a number of other policies, and stated that let's give him 4 more years to continue and do perhaps far greater things than he's done within the first 4 years of his administration.
Do we need Ochehini? I see now become a spokesperson.
Can I come in?
No, your time will come. I'll give you your time. I'll give you your time.
Is the Ochehini now the spokesperson of the president?
Or campaign manager?
The Ochehini has information minister who has been leading in the campaign. The president has the information minister. He has other communicators of the party hierarchy, don't he? He has a senior communicator in the person of Vice President Dr. Bawumia, who communicates and who has put up a tracker to track his development and told us that in that tracker, it is the first that has been done in sub-Saharan Africa. Is that not it? So the chief, you should not. In fact, like my brother said, you can, this is an election year. It's a tense political atmosphere. If he had done this, maybe 2 years down the lane of a new government, that you can be. This is a political year, 2 months to an election. And he's not a spokesperson of the Flagstaff House. Ochehini is not the spokesperson. He cannot speak for that. We know we can read. Or he's part of people who tell us that we can't read. So he now wants to regurgitate what we know more and tell us. I think that let's call a spade a spade. The chief is not only a point of rallying for his people, he's also a spiritual leader in some cases.
Unifier.
A unifier, a security capo in his place too, because he is to ensure security, law and order there. And that's in some cases, even though it's not allowed, chiefs in this our modern era flout the constitution and cane people. You think that the Asante-Hene didn't know all this thing, but look at his advice to both political parties. Couldn't he have done that? Then he told Mahama that admit your wrongs that you have done so that the people will vote for you. Is that not it? Mm-hmm. And told Nanado that if you say that you have done well, you've brought so much, even though the number of projects he said that he has done 1,800 and
I'm not sure the chief said that.
I'm saying that even though the president said, when he went before the chief, the revered Asante-Hene chief, he has to account for his governorship. So he mentioned those things, and in that account the chief said, we have listened to you. We don't take part in partisan politics, but let your people explain your development projects well. His adjective word was well to the people, not just to explain, but to explain well. A chief doesn't need to declare. We can go to chiefs in their room and they'll tell you that, look, Charlie, I'm for you, but do A, B, C, D. But to publicly declare is wrong. And especially when you look at the status of Ochehini, it's not small. Is the Ochehini part of the National House of Chiefs? If Togba Feder declares that, then Mama goes to Boli, the Boli Wura declares that. The Sandaman now declares that. Do you know the confusion? Do you know where we are leading to? It is not for nothing that Nkrumah said when he wins the elections, the chiefs will run away and leave their slippers behind. Nkrumah didn't make that statement out of vacuum because of the hypocrisy with which our chiefs at the time were collaborating with the colonial masters as against the interests of the Ghanaian people. That was why Nkrumah came out with that term. And especially, like I cited a clear example, when Mahama was the president, the Ochehini sent a strong message, and his message was that Mahama should endeavor to appoint people from the Ochiman kingdom. Is that not it? Mm-hmm. Even though we listed people who had appointed, who were even cabinet ministers, but he wasn't satisfied. Today, this same Ochehini is there, and you see God has made your son to become a president. Is that what you are admonishing President Mahama? Is that what you are admonishing your son to do? Is your declaration for MPP, or it is for President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo as his son? And that if Dr. Bawumia was the flag bearer, with the chief flag bearer of the MPP, would Ochehini had called for that? Or if it were Alan Chiramantin that was the president, would he have said that? Or Isaac said? We can go on and on and on, because these are all potential people who can become. So when we see these things and we say them, notwithstanding the father said, we don't have a chief that declared for John Mahama. But to be honest with you, until that man name came up, I didn't know him. But all of us know that after Ochehini, almost is a household name. That Asante-Hene is a household name. The Dagbon Na is a household name. The Yape Jagbon rice. There are some stews in the final analysis. They must not. And if they want to,
those who have endorsed President Mahama,
all of them. all of them, including those who have done the same criticism I'm giving to Ochihine, you can reverse it on the other chiefs too, because we don't need chiefs to be spokespersons of elected presidents of this country.
All right, thank you very much.
If they want to join the political discourse, they should put their skin and their stools down and join us, and we'll enter the gutter with them.
Thank you very, very much, Honorable Timothy Atabode. I want to, Doc, let's give me a second. Let me go for this quick commercial break. When I come back, I'll give you all the floor to speak to the matter. Quick commercial break. Stay with us.
Breakfast good day, every day.
Nestle, good food, good life.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Breakfast good day, every day. Every day.
Nestle, good food, good life.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Tuning to Pan-African Television. If just as you're watching the newspaper review segment on Pan-African Television, Doc, let's hear from you on the subject matter that we're discussing, please.
Well, Kwame, thanks so much again for this opportunity. And in fact, there are so many cool things happening which we need to talk about, and I'll come back to this chieftaincy thing. One, today I think former President Mahama will be submitting his nomination forms. Our President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, His Excellency, did his yesterday, and there are a few things we can't miss out on. I think I enjoyed watching it, and I enjoyed some main comments he made about the need to have a free and fair election. And I think that was very commendable, and I'm very happy. And I need to reiterate that this 2020 election should be done peacefully. And I commit myself to be one of the ambassadors for a peaceful election. And I'll pray that all hands will be on deck for a peaceful and fair elections. This goes to my other co-party people in terms of ruling this country, mainly the NDC party. So I'm happy that one, the filing fee is no longer an issue somehow, in the sense that they are paying the amount, which is 100,000 Ghana cedis, and we stand to argue in the future more and more about the filing fee and what we think should be appropriate. But one thing that our president also added was that he's encouraging many people to do the right thing and to vote for Ghana. Okay, and then the ECs, he charged the EC to make sure that the results are pristine, clean, and that the will of the Ghanaian people is what will be declared after the elections are over. And I think that is very, very nice. So all of us, as we work towards the 61 days left, should think carefully about the need for us to make sure that the will of the Ghanaian people is reflected in the voting on December 7th. Now, with regards to influence of the politics of this country,
right,
and the fact that chiefs, and shall I say, big-time chiefs, forgive my word, but I would say big-time chiefs have also joined in some of the pronouncements. I mean, I saw one clip where one chief was actually telling Mahama that he needs Mahama to win, and that his people have received,
Mahami chief
have received zero. Okay, which I find to be very unpalatable, very unsavory for somebody, I think, of high esteem. But be it as it may be, there were times when the Asante Hene was considered NDC, and there were times when he was considered MPP. And that is the beautiful thing about chieftaincy at times. You know, when Lumba made that song, Yeno Sirikwa, and it happened to be at an occasion where Asante Hene was also enjoying the music, boy, he said Asante Hene is MPP. And then there was also another moment when we were in opposition where some people felt that Asante Hene's donation with Mahama, his niceness and closeness with Mahama was quote unquote because Asante Hene was what? NDC. And I can even state that there were certain places where when we came into power, people were seemingly unhappy about the closeness of Asante Hene with Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo because they were under the impression, and get me here, that Asante Hene was NDC and why should he be close to the president? And these are very unfortunate things. In one breath, one statement is seen as leaning towards one party. In another breath, one statement seems to be leaning towards the other. And I think it has made Asante Hene very careful in his, orations, to the extent that he now advised generally that Mahama, please, when you go out, tell people you are sorry for your mistakes, okay, and that you've seen them and you correct them when you come. And then in another breath, he tells Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo that Asante Hene will remember you for these good projects, what you've done. That is a very fair, statement. Now, we go to the other breath where it seems we're focusing on the Oche man, kingdom. And there, no matter how you slice or dice it, I think any chief whose son, quote unquote, becomes president might be inclined to be a little bit more leaning towards that, party.
Even if that person is underperforming?
I said,
okay.
May or might, So there's that. And then also, there's been a short background of some people claiming that his people are Sakawa. I'm just trying to bring things into bear here, and that comment or claim that his kingdom, the people there are quote unquote, Sakawa, is a big issue, and that has not even been fully put aside or resolved. Now, I would say that the Ochiman or Ochihinin, is very vibrant, a very bold chief. I mean, sometimes when he's talking, I'm like, wow, man, this man he's brutal. He's brutal, And I like what Kwame was saying, that listen, the Ochehene was not talking in a vacuum. He made statements and cited a number of reasons why he thinks that if we should permit Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo to continue, things would be very good. And I think, we don't know what he will say when Mahama goes there. Do we know? We don't. It might be premature to judge that, hey, Ochehene is talking for MPP. But his comments as a also state man was that this man has done this hospital, he's done this project, he's done this road. And in fact, quite frankly, I was there recently and looking at some of the roads that Honorable Amoakwata has done. I mean, I personally, if I was having a shaky grounds in terms of my allegiance to MPP, looking at the roads that Honorable Amoakwata has done, I mean, you stand to be convinced. And I think that in the history of the Oche man, I think that maybe they've seen some monumental change in the infrastructure of the Achim enclave. And that is why the chief came out boldly to say that, listen, considering the wonderful development that Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has done, it is appropriate that we do one thing, which is to continue on this journey so that it doesn't get truncated and that good things continue for Ghana and for the betterment and for the improvement of the Ghanaian people. So what I can say is that, one, we should be patient and see what he says when former President Mahama goes there, and then we can be fair to Ochehene that when Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo came, you said this, and when Nana Addo came, you said this. When we weigh the two messages, we can then say, Ochehene has been unfair to NDC, or Ochehene has been unfair to MPP. Now, the only thing I can also add in finality is that clearly chiefs are influential people in the community. They are a big stakeholder in any community. And yes, their words mean something. He was saying that the chief's words don't mean anything to the electorate anymore. I stand to differ on that. Personally, I believe that the chiefs are major stakeholders and their words do matter. If a small man, assemblyman, can influence elections in a certain corner, it will be very, injurious to think that chiefs, quote unquote, don't matter in this election. That posture will not help my honorable Timothy. His other name, Awuntirim. I mean, I haven't had any TZ today. Awuntirim is difficult to say. So I'll beg that I think that, as for me, I believe that chiefs still matter in politics. Chiefs still matter in our day-to-day lives in this country. So we will plead with them that they be very careful in their oration, and be measured, and to project peace for this coming election. And in Kukwemu, as we say, in-house, they can go in one direction or the other. That one is their own prerogative. I hope you understand. So in a nutshell, we'll plead with the chiefs that please be careful in your oration, and that as much as you enjoy politics of the mainstream, we need to be careful. But the other simple thing is that, you know what, the media has also been quite unforgiving in our lives now. Some of these things that these chiefs would have done would have been so far removed from us that we may have never heard about it. You understand what I'm saying? But now they are on the spot, and video cameras, and I have to say this, my own or my henny and things, when the video is on them, Charlie, they feel some way. You understand? No, they feel excited, and in the excitement, they may say things that they wouldn't have said if the cameras were not there. You know, cameras can influence some people. If you get what I'm saying, if you're in a very deep village somewhere, and all of a sudden there are 3 or 4 cameras staring at you, media men with their microphones, it can excite you, and you go off and off and off and talk as if you are the almighty. You are delirious, and I think there's so many factors. So we should also be very patient with our chiefs, considering their excitement about television and excitement about cameras being on them. So these are what I would love.
Thank you very much. No problem. My time.
I've talked about. I agree that maybe there's something lingering on about Sakawa, Achim Mafia Sakawa. But Doc, all of us, we know. We are from different backgrounds and tribes. I'm a Bulsa man. If some group of Bulsa people are misbehaving, you describe them, that doesn't mean all the Bulsa people are the same. When you look at the Ajapa deal and what it came with and the people involved, and a member of parliament tweet and say this, look, like I told you, not all Achimman people are living in the flamboyance with which people close to the president are living. Some of these things, look, one time I was telling someone, some of these things, the president might not even know, and the fellow asked me why. Because when you're a politician, there are some things that even your people do behind you.
Brought your attention.
The one is brought, you say, but you can't come out again because it's already out there. You are forced to defend it. You understand? I've had a lot of background checks. It's not for this, but later on I tell about the president, who he is, and so on. People, the good things they say about him. But is that the way the public is looking at him? How he's even a charitable fellow? Is that the way the public is looking at him? Who would have told you that President Nana Danko Akufo-Addo would have come into power and these things will happen under his canopy and he will keep quiet? In fact, one of the issues the people voted for was that he's an anti-corruption guru and that he will not tolerate any nonsense. Talking about the roads and that place, there's a recent publication in Asante region that says that we have voted over 1.6 million votes to you. We haven't seen any development, but we have gone to develop there. I'm just looking at but you've seen the publication.
We've actually, you know what's funny?
I am only saying
when
those things
Nana
because
left Ashanti region, it was so clear that the Asantehene said,
if I want to interpret to be a different interpretation.
Go ahead, Tim.
So for me, I agree with this, and I agree with all of us here that there are big chiefs, there are big people. You remember the Dagbon, the unfortunate case in Dagbon. It wasn't not the chief that led to the peace that the politicians were there. But the politicians could not go take the lead because you needed not even the law, not even the Supreme Court. You get it, Kwame? So they use the chief, assuming that there's a political dispute. And then the chain is supposed to be led. And you know that there are some international appointments or international delegations that you need government's endorsement. And we know that Ochain is an environmentalist. Is that not it? Mm-hmm. He has love for the environment. If issues like that come, how are you going to be on a political delegation to lead? These are the things that you must be cautious. But he's so experienced. Like I say, he talked boldly. I would have wished he used his boldness in criticizing corruption and misgovernance and mismanagement.
Let me give the opportunity to Dr. Marzuk. He wants to make a few remarks.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
The use of words is different from the intended meaning. Mm-hmm. The intention of the user could be different from the impression created by words to the audience. So clearly, with all due respect, and that word Achim Sakawa, boys. To be frank with you, the user may not have the intention to injure all Achims. But the inclusion of the Achim can create an impression that all the Achims are Sakawa boys.
That is lecture talking.
You understand that? So no, just a minute. No, just a minute. I beg you. You see, your good intention is different from the way that word is supposed to be understood by the audience. So in responsible communication, we are a communicator, you know, we are expected to avoid any word or structure that has the potential to confuse your readers or your listeners. No, just a minute. No, I'm making
hold on, yeah.
Yes, to create any negative impression. Because the negative perception doesn't matter whether it is true or not. It destroys. So what I am saying is that in responsible communication, that Achim, the word Achim, if you look at the structure, Achim Sakawa boys. Yeah, if you say Achim Sakawa, yeah, in this context, we are talking of noun adjunct, where a noun functions as an adjective qualifying another noun. Achim is a noun, Sakawa is a noun. In that context, Achim becomes an adjective in a nominal form qualifying Sakawa. So Achim Sakawa boys. Just remove the Sakawa, the Achim from the Sakawa boys, and then you will have Sakawa boys. In that same context, you still have a noun adjunct, where Sakawa becomes an adjective qualifying the boys. Remove Achim and leave the Sakawa, you will not have any problem of ethnic tension.
Yes,
but the moment you include,
hold on.
The moment you include,
hold on.
I'm speaking as a political party.
Of course. But I understand where you're coming from. Yes. But also, it was predicated on something.
Yeah.
That we have a certain group of people who are in government.
Yes.
Who are from Achim.
I understand.
And the statement that was made was in reference to those people who have been appointed, who are Achim people, who are perpetrating that particular act. So, well, yeah. So it was on the basis of that. So they say,
I understand.
like they say, Bolga Bulldogs.
Yes.
It is not everybody who is from Bolga, who is part of the people who are described as Bolga
Bulldogs. That's true. That's Kwame, I'm saying that.
Yes, sir.
Yes. I understand your point very well.
Yes, sir.
I understand your point very well. But in a tensed political environment, we are advised. I'm not saying that he doesn't have the constitutional right to use it. He can use it constitutionally. Yeah, he has the right to use it. But he should also be aware of the burden to be sued by anybody who feels insulted. You understand that? Yes, he has the right. All I am saying is that in a very tensed political environment, I am urging all politicians and non-politicians in political discourse to avoid any word that will create ethnic tension. First of all, I have every reason to believe that whoever used the word did not have any negative intention.
Would you therefore say that the people who are saying voter secessionist groups are wrong?
No, you see,
all right.
Here, no, just let me.
They say that.
No, let me. Just a minute. I don't.
Let him know, but he's entitled to submission.
No,
so
I'm not saying.
Hold on. No. But you made a submission and he never interjected.
Yeah.
So let's have a very wonderful show, please.
You see, what I am saying is that if we know that we can use words that will be understood by so many people, the context you have raised might have not been understood by many Ghanaians.
Okay.
But the moment you say Achim, look, psychologically, anybody with Achim identity will be compelled to listen before the person even analyzes the situation and considers the context you are referring to.
Okay.
Psychologically, he or she might feel offended.
Okay.
You are talking of the voter secessionist.
Yes.
You understand that? You agree with me that this secessionism, this reckless act of secessionism has been a point of unification of almost all Ghanaians. We have all come together to condemn it. And it is true that every Ghanaian understands it in a context of geographical connotation, not ethnic connotation. Geographical connotation, because Volta is not a tribe. It is a place, a particular place in Ghana. So it is about the geographical location. But if you say Ewe, secessionism, I will be the first person to oppose it. If you call it Ewe secessionism,
but what are the people who are in Volta?
No, it doesn't. Volta region is populated.
No, but largely.
It doesn't matter.
But I asking me. Okay, well.
Yeah, you are asking me. You see, Volta region is populated. Just a minute. Just a minute. Volta region is populated by all Ghanaians. The Gombes are there, Hausas are there, the Achims are there. Everybody is there. But all I'm saying is that, you see, we should be able to distinguish ethnicity from geographical location. And that's why mostly in political discourse, issues of regionalism are misconstrued as issues of tribalism. For example, John Mahama went to the, was it John Mahama? Yes, the last election. He went to the north, he was appealing to the northerners to vote. You see, then a journalist wrote that, oh, he was engaged in tribal politics. I said, no way. I was in London. I wrote an article. I said, no way. That wasn't ethnic politics. If it was West at all, then it was regional politics. Northerners are not tribe. Northerners are people from a particular region. Northern region is not a tribe. The people of northern region are made up of so many tribes. Frefres, the Gombes, whatever, they are there. So what I am saying is that anything involving ethnicity is dangerous in our political discourse.
No,
and therefore,
undoubtedly.
So if you say Ewe secessionism, that I will have problems with that. But Volta secessionism, everybody knows that the secessionists and their operations and whatever they do are found in the Volta region.
I think it's simply a matter of communication, interpretation, and comprehension.
Comprehension. I'm saying that when it comes to when you raise all these elements, it is up to us to be responsible in our utterances. Let us avoid the use of words that will create ethnic tension.
Yeah, but the point is also that the fact that somebody has used a particular word to describe specific people in government who are acting in a manner that is injurious to the state does not. It doesn't mean a general description for the people who live in Achim. I said that. I just want us to also establish that.
No, I've said that. I think I've said that. I said.
You are only admonishing them. Yes. As far as
let me make it clear.
Plausible.
Yes. Let me make it clear. I think what I've said is that it does not mean that.
All right.
The meaning is different. Just a minute.
But you see,
the meaning is different from the impression it creates.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that. No.
But you see,
it has created the impression, and that impression is dangerous.
But you see,
that's what I'm saying.
But the character, you see, and this one that you're talking about,
before I forget,
is not. Hold on, respectfully. This thing that you're talking about is not peculiar to specific characters.
No.
It's also specific to utterances. Particularly, when you have a chief hailing from a particular
you have region. Not given me
I've given you ample.
No, but let me also say something.
So that chief is also involved. Is also involved in tribalism.
Clearly, let me tell you something. Look, let me tell you something. For example, the Ochihin, I respect Ochihin very well, and it is clear.
Yeah. Look, gentlemen, please.
This statement, with all due respect to His Majesty,
gentlemen, please.
With all due respect to His Majesty, I am on my knees. Ochihini should have avoided this statement. Why? Because the leader, the chairman of the opposition leader, of opposition political party, is an Ochin person. Right? It's an Achim. So this statement can bring division. To be frank with you, I do not subscribe to public declaration for political parties by chiefs. That should be avoided at all.
All right, thank you. Well, 026084653, it's getting heated in the studio. I think we should proceed and look at some other very important issues. One has to do. I just have about 15 minutes minus 5, which is 5 minutes for viewers, 10 minutes for. See, Honorable Advocate is so excited.
Let me come in.
No, you're not coming in. Otherwise we'll spend all the time on this. But just 2 minutes for you. The Cocoa Board report. Let's hear from you.
Tell those who are on Cocoa Board to tell us what they've done with our report. Okay.
He's not on Cocoa Board, by the way.
No, if
he has no appointment.
No link.
But you see, Doc said now be specific.
I'm referring to.
If he said those, it could be me. It could be me. It could be him.
No, but I pointed at him.
No, so mention his name.
I even touched him.
So mention his name. But you see,
there's a sense of touch. But I use the sense of touch.
But he is not part of the people. He's not even in government.
He's not. Because what I'm going to say, he's going to come against it.
Yeah, but he's an MPP. The fact that he's an MPP member does not mean that he's in the MPP
so
government.
The fact that I'm an achievement doesn't mean I'm a Sakawa boy.
Thank you.
No. You'll be baptized. So why would they take it from? Because I am not part of. I'm not part. Honorable. After the meaning, not part of that Japan. Honorable. After the meaning, I think we all agree that yes, it doesn't mean so. I am not part. It doesn't mean so. That is true. So let's say I'm a booster, and there are a group of boosters who have found gold and they are looting. Don't come and draw me into it.
Tell us the booster people or the Ajapa guys. If you say Ajapa guys are Sakawa boys, we all understand.
That's what we say.
That
was where the issue came from. But so let us dwell in it. Kwame, we don't have time, but very important topics today. All of them very, very important. With regards to the Cocoa Board and issues arising and Cocoa Board politics, let me put it that way. And especially, this has to do with a specific regime. And we all know that the John Mahama administration was lambasted. In fact, as we talk, the Cocoa Board CEO and I think others are in the court answering questions of maladministration, if I put it that way. Yes, to show cause for which the loss of the land should not deal with them. So when the government came, the government made some pronouncement, and some of them were this. The Agric Minister, $400 million on non-existent road contract that was given by the what do you call it, by the John Mahama administration. All the roads were terminated because they were fraught with rot and corruption. Some roads did not even exist. That, in fact, this is the first time under President Dramani Mahama's government, they've awarded non-existent road contracts.
Under John Dramani Mahama?
Yes. And you see what makes this so interesting? The president, in his State of Nation address, also said that he agrees with
Mahama or
no, President Kufuor. I'm now referring to why we should get the report. The president, in his State of Nation address to the people of this country, said that he agrees with the stoppage of the contracts there because they were fraught with this at the State of Parliament in that place. They said a lot of things. They said that the cocoa rates were not existent. That 32 kilometers routes that was awarded, we paid we paid for just 2 kilometers road, and then the money went wasted. On and on, the contracts were bloated. The use of the money was used for blah 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 and so on. Now you had the opportunity to commit a forensic audit into the stewardship of the John Mahama's administration and the use of Cocoa Board money for the development of this country. So the people of this country deserve to know what is in that report. You should not hide it, because you adduce evidence why you were investigating the institution. And this was even endorsed by the president. And you remember when they came to office, the CEO of Cocoa Board was taking so much. They are going to reduce. Ask them today. Look at the cars they drive from the board chairman to the CEO. What are they reduced? And so on.
Well, now we have
now that is not my issue, Kwame. No, don't go there.
I'm wondering why
you don't go there.
You
internal audit reports. Are you with me? Internal audit reports and Attorney General's report has also uncovered rot in that place, where even an amount of $4.4 million is found is not accounted. It has been wasted and not accounted for. Where they approved 70 million Ghana cedis to buy jute sacks, and they surreptitiously went and increased the amount to 140 million Ghana cedis. I can go on and on. 300 $3.570 million worth of agrochemicals that were not, these were through phony companies and also on. These are Auditor General reports. Now we want you to publish the report that alleges corruption under the John Mahama administration.
After court or...
No, even now, that it has been coming.
There may be some issues.
There's no any issue. That's not what you say, because I've quoted what
I'm just saying that when...
Proceed. There's no time. He's just distracting you. You don't know this man. Nicely distracting you.
And yeah, you say that he doesn't point.
He diplomatically... because your time is going.
So the issue is that, and you know, Honorable Eric Opoko has made allegation that the cost of the audit report cost the taxpayers' money $10 million.
Just auditing.
Just auditing that.
$10 million.
What
you just gave my
and up to now, the minister hasn't responded to it. And I was expecting that when the CEO and the press conference that was held by the new petroleum, they should have disputed that claim made by Honorable Eric Opoku. He made a claim up to today. They've not. $10 million have been used to audit the road contract. Up to now, none of the road contracts that they said they were over-bloated, that they were issued that were non-existent, you've gone ahead to pay the contractor. When we ask, when the reason you have even repackaged them. Do you know that under this government, a road contract, 1 kilometer is now costing $6 million under the Sino-Hydro, while under John Mahama it was $1 million. And that is captured in parliamentary Hansard. Sino-Hydro, $6 million per kilometer of road, and $1 million under John Dramani Mahama. You understand? I can go on and on, but the crux of the matter is that Ghanaians need to know. You have accused me of wrongdoing. Then I get up, then you come and sit here and say you've investigated me. Let me know so that I can answer my charges. We are in election 4 years. You haven't charged Mahama for any corruption. Yet you keep singing the song that Mahama is corrupt, Mahama has done this, Mahama has done this. Not even one corruption allegation has been put against President John Dramani Mahama. You want us to keep quiet? Recently, when they held their press conference, they now came out boldly and said they are not going to publish the report because they don't find anything wrong with it. And the accusations were baseless. In fact, the internal and auditors general report, rather against this government, point to a lot of rot. That if we had time and we're going, it would have been very, very serious. It points to a lot of rot. Just within 3 years, 8 months.
Thank you.
So the crux of the matter is that Ghanaians want to see. We can read.
Okay.
We do not want a system where another chief will tell us that what was happening at Cocoa Board. Yeah. He's not the PRO for Cocoa Board to speak for.
Thank you very much. Dr. Abdul, let's hear from you.
Yeah, thank you. I think we're nearing the end.
We are at the end. We are there.
You know, I think today has been fun. I mean, we have to clap for all of us. It shows good sportsmanship, and I really have loved today. And thanks, Awuntirim. Yes.
If you say I want to, you don't say it well. It's ethnocentric.
I've always been, looking at Tetekwashi Memorial Hospital, and I think instead of delving too much into this thing, I'll use this opportunity to do a humble plea. That as much as all these monies we are chopping from cocoa is going on, that hospital stands as a symbol of what we've gained from cocoa. And I'll plead that people should consider it as one of the places that we need to restore and enlarge to
cater to the needs of the people.
To cater to the needs of the people. And to really make people know that Tetekwashi was somebody who has made Ghana what it is with cocoa. And as it's a memorial hospital, I would plead that we work hard to make it stand out as a memorial to all these monies we've enjoyed from cocoa as a country. And I think, for me, that is what I would like to talk about in terms of this cocoa matter.
Okay, Doc Mazu, take us home.
Yeah.
It's gone, far gone.
It is good for former President John Mahama Day and Nana Akufo-Addo to publish reports about him. I think that is in line with the principles of accountability, transparency, and we should all worship, in fact, we should all commend the president, the current president, if he publishes the report, and commend the former president for calling for the publishing of those reports. But let me plead with the authorities that in handling such reports, let us not be guided by witch hunting. Let us rather be guided by accountability and transparency. If we are able to get such reports, it will minimize the quantum of lies, baseless accusations, and other evils in association with our politics. But handling such reports also calls for love for country instead of pursuit of partisan agenda. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mazu. Let me read a few of the messages that have come through. Good morning, Kwame. Watching you live from my corner. Keep on keeping on. And to my junior brother Timothy, I want to him Tabuade. I can't imagine the MPP man is praising the chairman on the Mali issue. I expected the chairman and President Nana-Addo to have done same to the so-called Western Togoland issue. Elijah sent in this one. This one says, my name is Mama G from Kasua. MPP will break the record since 1992. Ghanaians experience electoral processes. The way this government has delivered on its promises to the good people of Ghana, I have no doubt MPP will win massively coming 7th December 2020. 4 more for Nana Bawumia to do more. How to Asosa Mama G sent this one in from Kaswa. Good morning to you. The doctor is confusing us with his grammar. His interpretation of Sakawa as a noun is wrong. Sakawa is an adjective qualifying some Achim boys. This cannot stand for all Achim boys. Idrisu from Tamale sent in this one.
You go and read grammar books. Now adjunct. Is it?
No. There are nouns and then verbs.
You should know the difference between law school and lawful school. In law school, the noun law is a noun adjunct functional as an adjective qualifying school.
Thank you.
Which is different from lawful school.
Thank you. My boss came.
I need grammar.
I want to wish the Vice President of Ghana a happy birthday and a very big good morning to the only hope and incoming MP for Anyaso constituency, Dr. Armand Kisi. I am of the opinion that chiefs should also get on board our politics, since they are also entitled to express their views on matters that affect the nation. I want to urge all patrons within the Anyaso constituency to get involved in a health walk at Tabora this Saturday. Good morning to the Assembly member of Santa Maria, Nanakwesi Buanjo Jr. This is Nanaya Amwa from Sutum Omanjo. Dak Wohau Yemehau. That is Dr. Adwogizi Wohau Yemehau. Please, in semantics, we have ambiguity. That is a situation where an expression can be interpreted in 2 or more ways. Sure. Therefore, people go for the meaning that may suit their interest. Yes. So if they are accusing JM of mischief, that is fine. But the fact is that he's referring to a group of people from Achim and not all Achims. Danda Kawawa from Pusiga. Good morning to you. Please tell Dr. Mazu to mention the name in the Ajapa royalty and where they are coming from and which clan. Banye Abubakar from Uwenchiki.
I didn't say Ajapa royalty.
CEO of Cocoa Board says he cannot disclose the amount paid to the auditors, but we are being told it's $10 billion. Stephen from Insuta Buem. Hey, 10 million. Hey. Good morning, Champion KOD. Ask Doctor, the Achim Sakawa boys and Achim boys are Sakawa, are they the same? If that is the case, then Bolga Bulldogs means all Bolga boys are Bulldogs. I heard this term Achim Sakawa boys long ago, not now. Thanks, Haruna from Tamale. Taledog, today your people are on you.
We are in class already, they are learning. Let me explain. In fact, I enjoy questions from my students.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. Mm-hmm. He's saying Achim Sakawa boys and Achim are Sakawa boys, right? Mm-hmm. Let him understand one thing. We have postposition and preposition. So it's just a matter
Of positioning.
Of positioning.
Well, this all come before. This all come after. Good morning. There are 2 units, the chief of our chiefs. There should have been nothing wrong if the chief had enumerated what President Nana had done for the Ocheman. Yes. All chiefs do so when presidents visit their jurisdiction. But to go to the extent of talking about one village, one dam, and one district, one factory, which is not happening, is where he erred, in my opinion. Secondly, he made that bigotry statement describing Nana as an audition at helm of affairs and must have 4 more years is condemnable. Issa Abba from Chipone. That is precisely the case. That is precisely the case. And I remember that he even made a statement that all Achims and for that matter Ghanaians.
Yes.
Do you get it? And that, for me,
I think that is condemnable. Yes, it is condemnable.
If the kidnappers of the Takoradi girls are from Nigeria, I say Nigerian kidnappers. Hold on. People are today they are on doctor's case.
Oh yes, I will.
If the kidnappers of the Takoradi girls are from Nigeria,
yes,
I will say Nigerian kidnappers. Yeah. Does that mean all Nigerians are kidnappers?
No.
The president was only trying to incite his tribesmen against JM to equalize the description and treatment of Voltarians as foreigners during the registration exercise.
My answer.
That's all.
My answer. I have made it clear that the meaning, just as the guy who wrote on semantics, the meaning is different from the creation of the impression to the listener, right? If the people are described as Nigerian kidnappers,
yes,
definitely it doesn't mean that all Nigerians are kidnappers, and that's why you have not even used the word all. Nigerians are kidnappers.
All settlers, but Zongo.
Just a minute.
Let him land.
But then if you say Nigerian kidnappers, it means that Nigerian here is used as an adjective qualifying the kidnapper. The kidnappers are Nigerians. That doesn't mean all Nigerians are kidnappers. But in a situation where you use it in a context that goes to the people, and then the people try to make it as if you are referring to all the people, I mean all the tribes. What I am saying is that we should know the difference between what it means and the creation it creates to the people. That's exactly what I am saying.
Good morning, Pan-African TV. Until our elites change their mindset, they are always going to be that setup who will always play in favor of the colonial master. Okay, thank you. Kwame, read my text. Okay. If Doctor is arguing that Ochehene has endorsed Nanado because of development in Achim Enclave, what about those who did not see any development in their areas? Can't they also endorse whoever has helped or whoever they think can help them?
But did you say that?
Good morning to you. The chief of Mehamen in the Ahafo region says that if NDC Mahama does not win the 2020 election, he will suffer and die. Listen to the chief very well. He is not talking for the people, but his stomach. Bible says, lack of knowledge, my people perish. Chief, don't participate in active politics. This was said by Iramba in Boko. Morning, KO, the Chebi Water Project is the biggest in the Eastern region since 1992. Yeah. But Ochehene never advocated for more for JM in 2016. Yes. Salam Atuak in Boko. Good morning to you, KO. In fact, I'm very disappointed in regards to what the MP man said. So MPP people are supporting what the chief did. MPP party is a disgrace party. Yiram Samuel. Should we be surprised that there have been allegations of corruption against government officials and yet nothing has been done about them, knowing clearly that this government is noted for selective justice? Asanko from Santa Maria. President Mahama is not going to build mortuaries in various communities, but he's going to build them attached to the various hospitals. Yes. And I think he is right. Let me ask you, if a Muslim dies in a hospital and the parents are not around, are they going to allow him on the bed until the parents come around? The answer is no. They will have to take him to the mortuary until the parents come around. So let me ask your panelists, what is wrong with this? It's high time we stop the propaganda. Ahmed Offenso Kokote. Chiefs are our fathers and should not sell us for cars and money. Good morning, Honorable Atabwade, Robert Asekapta. Kwame, the way I respect this Ochehene, I have cancelled him down because we have a lot of Achims in the NDC too. What do you think they will do if the Ochehene, because of his ways in politics, because of his ways, he should not even be put on any public board because he's painted himself as a politician. Togbi Gemega from Qatar. Good morning to you, Kerry and the panelists. If any people think they have done well, so they deserve 4 more to do more, they should leave that for the people to decide and stop making noise. Amadou from Takrade, my regards to my senior, Dr. Abubakar Marzouk. I am always very proud of you when I hear you speaking.
I'm humbled. From
Hassan Patenga. Good morning to you, Kwame. What the revered Ochihine said was in bad taste. Let's not nice words.
At all.
And you continue to say, you can imagine if every chief in this country declares support for a political party, the chiefs in the Volta region are likely to root for the NDC. We have been struggling to get rid of tribalism in our body politic. These open endorsements would make any attempt to destabilize our politics an impossible mission.
Exactly.
My regards to Chief Sofo Azoka.
Jelly, my brother. Stop
endorsing 4 more years for Nana Akufo-Addo to do more. Lawyer Ampao, please, 2 messages on Facebook and then I'm done. This one also says, Skydome GH says, well, so this one is from Jeffrey Tego says, Mahama is not going to NHB. He has him. And to us, it says, between Ochene and Mahama, who is talking partisanship, and who is talking development? Joseph Mill says, bro, good question. Skydome GA says, Nana and his MPP government has nothing to offer but ghost projects. People who don't care about the welfare of the good people of Ghana. Sankofa JM. Oswald Hagan said, I think Dr. Kisi will be a parliamentary material. I wish him the best of luck. He's good. Oswald Hagan. What is that? Per Fleet Excess? UK. Okay. Good morning to KO. Ochene openly declaring support for Nana Akufo-Addo is no news. For almost 4 years of MPP administration, they have only toilets for their achievement. This is what Ghanaians need to discuss. Okay. And the messages are a lot. Thank you. Honorable Timothy Atabwadi. Thank you, Dr. Adman Kisi. Thank you, Dr. Marasu. Thank you today for watching the News Super Review segment. My name is Kwame Owusu Danso. I'd like to say a big thank you again for sending your messages. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Do have a very blissful day. Thanks a lot. Salute. We're out.
Truly African.
I say when you may see make me sis me sire why na me yifa na teacher way e dari malaria din ya chisa e da kan akoma 2 years